All right, we officially have Gabbie Marshall reconnecting with Caitlin Clark, joining forces in Indianapolis. This is good news. Now all we gotta do is find a way to get rid of Stephanie White and get Kate Martin to Indiana as well. We gotta break this down. The Caitlin Clark, Gabbie Marshall reconnection is happening.
Pay attention to that reaction, because what looks like ordinary good news actually points to a much bigger WNBA story right now. Gabbie Marshall, who used to play with Caitlin Clark at Iowa, hasn't played pro basketball since April 2024, but she's now moving to Indianapolis. That timing is what has people talking. Here's why it matters. The Indiana Fever have only 3 players under contract for the 2026 season. 3 players can't make a real team. At the same time, the ongoing CBA talks could put the next season at risk. If the talks collapse, teams may have to use replacement players. With that in mind, Marshall leaving Chapel Hill, North Carolina for Indianapolis suddenly feels less random and more like a move that could matter.
Big part of that. So now we have this. Caitlin Clark's Iowa teammate Gabbie Marshall announces move to Indiana. Now we know she has not been playing ball since Iowa. I think she moved to North Carolina or something after Iowa. Now headed to Indiana to reconnect with CC. Clark was forced to sit out as the Indiana Fever made an unexpected postseason run, pushing the Las Vegas Aces to Game 5. Clark missed out on most of the season.
The timing gets even more interesting when you lay it out. Gabbie Marshall finished her college career in April 2024, playing next to Caitlin Clark during Iowa's huge run that shattered TV records. After that, she paused basketball, relocated to North Carolina, and enrolled at the University of North Carolina to finish her master's degree. It was a solid decision. For the past 8 months, she's been in Chapel Hill, and when she could, she traveled to support Clark at Indiana Fever games. Then on Sunday, January 12, 2025, her partner Spencer Turo posted on Instagram that he took a job as Director of Operations at ETS Performance's headquarters in Indianapolis. Not Charlotte, not Raleigh, Indianapolis, the same city where Clark plays. Now Gabbie is heading closer to Clark at the exact moment the WNBA is dealing with one of the most unstable labor situations it has ever faced.
Season. And here it says, following her Iowa career, Marshall went on to attend the University of North Carolina, earning her master's degree. Oh, she's smart. Oh, she's smart. So she went on to North Carolina to earn her master's. Marshall has remained supportive of Clark during her WNBA career, attending numerous Fever games to watch her good friend despite being in Chapel Hill. But on Sunday, Marshall's partner, Spencer Turo, announced on...
This gets even more compelling when you look at how pro sports has worked before. Big stars have sometimes helped people close to them get chances. J.R. Smith saw his brother Chris Smith land on the New York Knicks roster in 2013. Giannis Antetokounmpo later shared the Milwaukee Bucks locker room with his brother Thanasis. When a player brings massive value to a franchise, extra opportunities can show up around them. Caitlin Clark set WNBA attendance records in 2024. As a rookie, she put up 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game. Indiana Fever merchandise reportedly jumped by about 400% because of her popularity. The team went from crowds around 4,000 to arenas filled with over 17,000 fans. If any player has earned the pull to help a former teammate get a look, it's Clark. And Gabbie Marshall isn't only a friend. In her last season at Iowa, she hit 38.7% of her threes and was viewed as one of the best perimeter defenders in college basketball.
100% with the Indiana Fever, giving Gabbie Marshall a tryout, because at the end of the day, what else do we have here? Like, it ain't that many people under contract. Look, off the strength of CC, she should be able to get a tryout. You should at least have enough respect to do that, all right? J.R. Smith was able to get his brother on the team. Giannis Antetokounmpo got Thanasis Antetokounmpo on the team, all right? Caitlin, at least give Gabbie a tryout now. I don't want to hear no excuses on why it can't happen. All right, Still, the biggest reason people are linking all of this is the CBA situation.
That's the main factor that makes Marshall's move feel like more than a personal decision. The WNBA Players Association and the league didn't reach a deal by the January 31st deadline. They extended talks by 6 weeks, moving the new deadline to mid-March. That timing is rough because training camps are expected to start in April and the regular season is supposed to begin in May. Right now, there still isn't a new collective bargaining agreement. If negotiations break down, the league could cancel the season or bring in replacement players. In 28 years, the WNBA has never had a strike or lockout, but that risk now feels closer than it ever has. If it comes to that, teams would need players willing to step in who aren't currently in the union.
There's a lot going on and a lot of conversation surrounding the new offer from the WNBA with the $1 million base salary, but they are not interested in continuing to pay for housing or these players and certain things, that stipends and things like that they were giving before. They're basically saying, hey, we're upping the pay and now you can cover your own tabs for living and all of this other stuff. A lot of people are up in arms about it. Some people are saying take the money and do the deal. Let's get the season going. Let's hear what Alexa Philippou had to say about this on ESPN today.
About where things stand at the moment.
Yeah, George, well, there was a lot of meeting, a lot of back and forth over the last few weeks in hopes of trying.
To see why the two sides are stuck, you have to look at the money on the table. The league's newest proposal includes a maximum guaranteed base salary of about $1 million. With revenue sharing, top players could clear more than $1.2 million in total. The average salary would climb above $500,000, and the minimum would rise past $225,000. The salary cap would also leap from about $1.5 million per team to around $5 million, with future increases tied to revenue growth. On the surface, that sounds like a complete overhaul. Right now, the maximum salary is about $241,994. The average sits near $100,000, and the minimum is $64,154. So the top end could jump roughly 400%, and the minimum could rise around 340%. That's not a small tweak. It's a major reset in how WNBA players get paid.
Extension neared, and I can report that, we saw a report a few weeks ago on the league's proposals to the players. I actually have some updated numbers I'd like to share you all of where the league's latest proposal stands. Right now, they are offering a deal with a salary for players at the maximum with a $1 million guaranteed base, projected revenue sharing, pushing those total earnings for maximum players to more than $1.2 million. Sources have told me just now. The average salary projection under this deal, the average salary across the board is projected to exceed $500,000. The minimum salary would be projected to exceed $225,000, sources tell me. And the salary cap would actually increase to $5 million a year, and sources say would be directly
But the offer also takes away some benefits players currently have, and that's where the fight really starts. In the new setup, league-provided housing during the season would go away. Some maternity-related payments would be removed too, along with certain guaranteed travel arrangements. The league's point is straightforward. If pay increases that much, players should be able to cover housing and daily costs like other pro athletes do. Players disagree. They say those benefits were needed because pay stayed low for so long. Cutting benefits while talking about big raises feels like mixed messaging to them. They also note that NBA players, who get a similar share of revenue, still receive both strong salaries and full benefits. The largest issue is revenue sharing. The WNBA brings in about $200 million a year. Players want 50%, like the NBA model. The league is reportedly closer to 40%. That 10% gap is about $20 million each year, or roughly $200 million over a 10-year deal. That difference is the core reason the talks are still so tense.
Out for a little bit of a frame of reference, the salary cap for 2025 is around $1.5 million. These are different numbers, updated numbers than we saw from about November 18th when that last deal came out. We don't quite know right now what the players do think of this, obviously. It was not enough to get to an agreement yesterday for a new CBA, so it will be very interesting to see. We know that revenue share and salary cap that was actually tied directly to revenue growth in the league was very important to them. It's right now, again, unknown what they think of this proposal. But the reason why both sides do want to have this 6-week kind of runway to try to come to agreement is that they really see this as an opportunity to have an urgency to actually get the deal done sooner than that. That was kind of an expectation in agreeing to this, and we'll see how much closer they can come as we get to the next 40 days or so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A deal has to get done before the
greatness is a journey.
A deal will have to get done.
Now circle back to Gabbie Marshall and why her move could matter. If the season is delayed or wiped out because of the labor dispute, the Indiana Fever have a real problem. The franchise was set to build on the momentum from Caitlin Clark's arrival. Home games sold out, sponsorship money was lined up, and national TV plans were in place. But the roster picture is shaky. Only 3 players are currently under contract: Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, and Katie Lou Samuelson. Every other spot depends on free agency or team options, and many of those decisions can't fully lock in until a new CBA is signed because the future salary cap is unknown. If talks drag into March and put the April training camp start in danger, the Fever need contingency plans. Having Gabbie Marshall already living in Indiana, someone who knows Clark's game and can shoot and defend at a high level, could become real depth, not just a friendly reunion.
You could push this, keep pushing this thing 6 weeks. Like, I think a deal has to be done by January. I'm hoping they're able to get one done. A lot of people, it's a lot of differing opinions on the most recent offer from earlier today that was reported. A lot of people do not agree with them taking housing out of the deal. Some people do. And I just feel like, hey man, listen, if the league minimum is gonna be $225,000, you can go get your own apartment. That's just kind of how I feel. I don't know. I mean, you get $1 million contract, you can go get your rent an apartment for however 4 months. Okay, it's not gonna kill you. That's just how I feel. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. This is Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comments.
There's another key detail people often miss, and it involves Kate Martin, the 3rd player from Iowa's well-known trio. She was taken by the Golden State Valkyries in the expansion draft, so she won't be coming to Indiana. That makes Gabbie Marshall the most realistic path to bringing back even a piece of the chemistry that made Iowa must-watch in recent NCAA tournaments. Chemistry matters more than most people think. Part of why Caitlin Clark's assist totals were so high at Iowa was because her teammates understood how she creates passing angles. Marshall played 39 games with Clark. She knows when Clark likes to drive and when she's about to stop for a pull-up. She understands when to cut hard and when to stay spaced out, ready for a kick-out pass. That kind of feel is hard to build fast in a short training camp. The Fever had lineup instability in 2024 even though they made the playoffs. They opened 1-8 and kept shuffling rotations before things finally improved. Adding someone with built-in on-court understanding with the star could be more valuable than it looks at first. Beyond the roster angle, the bigger issue is what this says about where the WNBA is headed. Start with the idea of Marshall getting a tryout. A lot of people feel she's earned at least that chance. She was part of the Iowa group that helped push women's college basketball into a new level of attention. The Iowa vs. LSU championship game drew 12.3 million viewers, making it the most watched women's college basketball game ever. Marshall started that game, knocked down timely threes, and defended Angel Reese well. She isn't just someone hoping a friend does her a favor. She's a proven player who chose to finish her education instead of chasing a pro spot right away. Normally, making a WNBA roster is extremely tough. There are only 144 roster spots across 12 teams, and even great college players often don't stick. But with today's uncertainty and so few contracts locked in, steady depth players could suddenly matter more than ever. Marshall fits that role very well.